Lessons from Behind My Chair is a podcast that aims to fill your cup with a fresh squeezed dose of clarity, courage, and bliss. Join your host, Angela B. Fuller, each Sunday at 6 for real, raw, light bulb conversations, and follow along at Angela B. Fuller on Instagram and Facebook. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, as well as rate 5 stars and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Now, let's get into the show.
Hey, love, welcome back to another episode of Lessons from Behind My Chair. I'm your host, Angela B. Fuller, master hairstylist turned certified life coach. Today, I have a juicy episode in store for you. When I was thinking about what I wanted to bring to this episode, my 11th episode, I got really excited. And I wanted to choose something and talk about something that would evoke a lot of thought. And I'm hoping I did this with talking about living in your purpose. But before we dive into the episode, you know I have a pop question for you. And so I'm excited about this question because it is going to evoke a lot of thought, and it is going to help you like it, and I hope it does, because it certainly did for me. It helped me to dig deep and listen to my soul speak to me about who I am, how I create my world, and who I choose to let in. So the pop question is this: if your world is a stage, then who is your audience? Let me repeat that. If your world is a stage, who is your audience? Now, don't answer right away. Let's go through the entire episode, and at the end, I want you to comment and tell me a little bit about if your world is a stage and who is your audience. So let's go ahead and jump right in, because this message is for women who feel that they are born to serve. And there's something very unique about women who believe that they came here to serve, because you kind of sort of feel like it's in your DNA. It's like you question yourself about what is your purpose, and then you give a lot of thought about how you serve, the different ways and the different levels of how you serve. Do you go half at it, or do you go all in? And also, when women who are born to serve, it doesn't feel like work. I know for me, that's what I experience when I'm serving in the manner that I think I came here. And I'm sure you have those same feelings too. It doesn't feel like work. You're in it, you're doing your thing, and before you know it, hours have passed when it just seems like 45 minutes to an hour. It happens to me every time, and I'm sure it happens to you. So let's think about this a little deeper. So how do you measure your impact of service? That's a question that I think many of us don't think about when we're serving. We just jump in and do what we need to do, or do what we feel led to do. But how do you measure the impact of your service? And we have to, and I think in order to do that, we have to ask the question, is telling the story of who you are accurate and clear? Because if you're not sure about who you are, if you can't communicate that to the people that's in your life, then how in the world do you know that you're making impact? And another thing is, are you holding yourself accountable for the lack of impact? Because, we can't do the blame game. We can't blame someone else for the lack of impact that we're not making. And also, do you have the courage to course correct? When you find yourself feeling like you're on a mission to do something, whether it's um, to deal with something in your family, or whether it's dealing with friendship, or whether it's dealing with your 9 to 5, or at your church, or some type of community that you are interacting with, do you have the courage to course correct when you realize that you've been operating on low fuel? And then the third thing is, are you being an individual that is courageous enough to stand in your genius? It's something when we know we got something in us, when we know we got a lot to give, and yet we are afraid to let that light shine. Where did that come from? And who are we serving when we do that? It's like this. Because see, here's the thing. I don't think it's about measuring the number of people that you reach. But I think we need to begin to measure the impact that we're making with the numbers that we serve, or with the numbers that we reach. So it's like this. Many of us, myself included, have gifts. We have gifts. We have talents. We have a natural niche that when we put our hands on it, we soar. We make it work. They say teamwork make the dream work. But I think when a woman makes up her mind that this is her niche, yes, we need a team, but we have to be the leader of that team. And there's so many times that we are afraid to operate, to step in, to dance like I do on my Fridays, to dance in our genius. And we don't do it because we are afraid of what people think. We are afraid of how we are perceived. We are afraid of showing people that we are multidimensional. And as a result of that, we don't make the impact we are to make in the people that are waiting for us. Because let's be clear about something. There are women who are waiting for us. And if we shrink from how we are to serve, if we shrink from being bold about it, then guess what? We've missed an opportunity that we may not get back. So all I'm saying is this. First of all, let's find out who we are. Second of all, let's connect with that person. Third, if we need help in an area that we fall short, then let's find that help. And then let's develop for ourselves, but just as importantly, for the audience that we have in our life. So I want you all to think about ways that you all have fallen short. And when you think about those ways, I also want you to come up with some answers of how you can course correct. Because as you continue on your journey to self-actualization, to self-love, to self-transformation, whatever it is you want to call it, I just want you to be sure to measure the right things. I want you to be Be very mindful of fine-tuning where you fall short, and also be aware of, besides yourself, who else should be or ought to be benefiting. And then I want you to boldly stand in on what you believe, and then develop the traction necessary for you to stay in the game. Because nobody's saying this thing is easy. Trust and believe me. Because see, a lot of times people see the end result. You know, there's a saying that says, you know, everyone sees the glory, but they don't know the story. Let me tell you something. I was one of those persons who said the same thing. But when you are trying to do something great, when you are making an attempt to step out of the norm, things come from every angle that will throw you off your box. The people that you thought you knew, the places that you thought you had to be, the invitations that you thought you had to accept, the way you had to go through life, the way you had to perform on this stage of life, and the audience that is in there, everything changes. And you have to ask yourself, where in the world did this shift come from? Because the shift is not always sweet. The shift sometimes turns into shift without the F. And you got to figure out ways in which how you're going to deal with this thing. And you can't listen to the noise. You can't listen to the noise, because if you listen to the noise, it's going to throw you off your game. And understand this. You don't have to have 100% of the answers 100% of the time. My advice to you is to figure it out as you go. But make sure you go. Just be sure to go. No matter what the cost, just be sure to go. So again, I want you to think about, if your world is a stage, then who is your audience? And if you're going to play in the major league, if you're going to play in the NFL, if you're going to play in the NBA, if you're going to play on any high level, then I suggest you get ready to make some shifts. All right? I want you to know I'm with you. I'm cheering you on. I believe in you. And remember to just go. Even if you have to go alone. Okay? All right? Bye. Mwah.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Lessons from Behind My Chair. We'll see you next week for another juicy topic. Okay? Bye.